Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 15th episode of the Washed Athlete Podcast. And you may be noticing that someone else is introing this podcast episode, and that is because Peter is currently not joined with us, but he may be joining in soon, or he may not. But yeah, we'll just have us for today, Raj, Andres, and Jacob all out here on the pod. So, boys, we have, I feel like, officially made it to summer. You know, last week was kind of like that intermediate phase of like finishing finals and moving in to the summer, but now we are actually here. Like, we're a week removed. Actually, we're like 11 days removed from finals. Two people have gone back home. I've come back. Jacob's still chilling. So, how are we feeling about this going in summer?
It still doesn't feel like summer. Like, it has not hit me yet that it's summer. I don't know. I don't know if it's the fact of the matter that, like, I came back home for, like, a little bit, but it just doesn't feel like summer yet. I mean, the weather here is, like, decent. I don't know how it is in Pittsburgh at the moment, but it just doesn't feel like summer yet.
It has been, like, 78 to 82 degrees and sunny for, like, 4 straight days.
Yeah. It's been pretty warm, and it's been a good sight to see.
No rain.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that's definitely different for me is seeing, like, just it feels like significantly more empty as opposed to, like, you know, what it would be like in the school year. But, I mean, everybody is going back home, you know, for summer break for the most part, or just, like, you know, maybe just taking a trip or who knows what. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the whole last week it was raining. Like,
yeah,
why does that have to change when I go home?
No, that's what I was gonna say. As soon as we go back to Jersey, the weather suddenly gets nice.
No, and like it's not even like this is like pretty much most people's like ideal temperature. It's like the peak is like 82, so it never gets like scorching hot, but it's nice and sunny. UV index of like 8, not a cloud in the sky. So it has been shockingly nice in Pittsburgh. I'm sure the weather in Jersey is probably pretty similar, right?
Yeah, it's about the same.
No, and like the campus, like Raj, Jacob was saying is like, yeah, our campus has been like pretty empty, but also I am kind of shocked how many people are here because like I'm here to like do research and take a summer class, and I look at these other people and I'm like, what are y'all here for? Like I'm like, you have no reason to be here, but they're probably doing something similar. I was sitting outside in the sun yesterday, and there were a ton of people out on the lawn, just like chilling there, tanning and whatnot. And I was like, kind of shocked how many people. Now, if it was a regular school year, there would have been way more people out there, but I was still like shocked at the number of people. Like, it's not like Oakland's been like completely dead.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. When Peter and I were driving over to your place for dinner, Justin. Seeing everybody on like Shenley Plaza and like over at the porch was kind of surprising. Like you would think like there are obviously less people because you know there are still like a fair amount of places to sit at Shenley Plaza, but at the same time, you know, it's still a sizable amount of people at the you know that are still here. So yeah.
No, it's cool to see. I was like a little concerned at first that it would just be like a ghost town all summer and I wouldn't have anything like to do or I wouldn't see anybody, But what's been really shocking is I went to the Starbucks like 2 to 3 days ago. The Starbucks is so empty compared to like during the year. I know we don't have like a ton of coffee drinkers on the pod right now.
It's just you.
Yeah,
maybe
it's just
Andres.
me and Andres. But Andres is a recent addition to the coffee gang. But I walked into Starbucks and I was like, there was not a line. There wasn't like a bunch of people like huddling around the mobile order station. I was like, damn, you really know that college is over. College is over for the year once like Starbucks is just empty.
I have a question for our viewers. Comment down below, or just on our Instagram. But is coffee considered a breakfast food?
I never said it was considered a breakfast food.
Then why would you rank it on the breakfast food tier list?
Because it was on the breakfast food tier list.
But it's not a breakfast food, so you shouldn't.
I didn't make the tier list.
But you can always make a tier saying, you know, haven't had or like not breakfast as I did, you know.
Listen, I want people to actually comment below. Do you think it's wrong that I added a breakfast, like I put coffee because it was on the list, or do you think it's wrong that I included it on the list even though the person who made the list put it on the list? You know, I think you're giving me too much hate out here because I didn't make the tier list. But I did, though, is I did make the recent tier list for Tier List Tuesday with the Marvel shows and whatnot. I did think it turned out really nice. And I put a funny meme on the top. So, I was pretty happy with that. But yeah. So, Andres, how's your summer been going off to? Like, how do you feel about the summer?
Yeah. Well, I guess while we're talking about how campus has been empty, because last week I was still on campus and the semester had technically ended. I went to Hellman one day, library, and usually that place is packed, especially the week before when it was finals week. It was a madhouse. You couldn't get like a single table. And when I was there, it was a ghost town. The only people that were there were like full on adults, like 40, like 30 plus. I'm assuming like grad students doing whatever. It was just shocking to me because I'm a Hillman dweller. I'm always at Hillman every week, at least 3 to 4 days a week, and seeing it as a ghost town was nuts. Like, it was wild seeing it that empty. And yeah, I mean, that was wild. Campus obviously is a lot more empty, but now I'm back home. Just got back home a few days ago here in Jersey, and I've been having a good time just being with family and my friends from other schools slowly coming back, and been hanging out with them a little bit and going back to good old Crunch Fitness while I unfroze my membership that I had here. And yeah, I've been, getting lifts in, grind doesn't stop, but no, it's been nice to just spend some time here. And I'm hoping that the internship I got at Pitt in Pittsburgh is hybrid, so that I can definitely bounce back while I have time, with it being summer, and just being able to see friends from home and family, and still be able to just hang out with you guys at Pitt. So summer, it's starting to feel like it's summer, just being back here in Jersey after that 1 week after finals. Like, the realization's it's hitting me.
Yeah.
As opposed to Raj.
Yeah, we talked about a little bit on the last episode about just like getting older, and things we have to do. And I'm like, I wonder at what point are the summers going to stop feeling like the summers of like the past? Because even last year I went home and I worked a lot, but like I still got to do stuff on my days off that was pretty summer related. But like right now, like I'm going to start class in like next Monday with Raj. Of course, we're going to be slumming it out in biochemistry
Great.
together. But we'll be starting a class, and I still work my research job, and then I still need to get like my runs in and whatnot. And I'm like, very quickly, I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like, I don't have that many, like, I don't have really off days. I volunteer on the weekend, so I'm like, very quickly, like, am I just seeing the end of my like summers, like summers where I have nothing to do, disappear? And that answer is absolutely true. I mean, it'd still be summer, like you take vacations in the summer and whatnot. But I used to just like when I was 15, 16 years old, I literally went home at the end of the school year. Like, I just did nothing. I just hung out with family and goofed off, and that's all I did. I didn't like have to play Call of Duty. Like, I didn't have to do anything. And now I'm like, it's very different.
I mean, like I said, it's definitely different now, especially with being in college, especially when you're coming back from school. And like, for me, just the past 2 days when I've been driving to the gym at around like 2-ish, I'll see like the high schoolers again. I'm like, wow, like that was me, and they're still in school. Like, that's wild. And then for like 3 when you're at the gym, the high school goblins start to come in, and then they just hog up the whole gym. So that's why you always have to go usually I've been trying to go before, because I do not want to be in the gym when they're out, because they come in hordes. They're like, they're just oh.
You mean the SARMs goblins?
Yeah, like, they just come in packs, and they just keep multiplying every day. It's
Yeah,
nuts.
8 to a bench, repping out, I don't know, playing 25 for like 20 minutes, I guess. I don't know. I haven't gone back to my gym yet. One, because I have no membership. Two, I just don't feel like going back there. It's kind of like the vibes aren't the same anymore since high school.
Yeah, and with it being summer also, I know I've gotten a lot of hate from Jacob and Raj, namely, for not watching shows that have been recommended to me, and I will say it's warranted. It is warranted, but I'm a man of my word. I said that once semester ended, I would start watching shows on the list that I have, and Attack on Titan was first on the list, and I just finished it today, and I will say it is one of the best shows I've ever seen. I can say that with confidence. It was a very, very good show. I watched the first season when I was in 7th grade, when that was literally the only thing out for it, and I loved it then, but I just never kept up with the releases, because season 2 was only a rumor at the time. And then Raj did tell me last year to watch the show, and I kind of put that off until just now, after season 4 part 2 came on, or went live, and yeah, no, I binged it all, and I loved it. Definitely one of the best shows I've ever seen. I'd recommend it to anyone. You don't even have to be like an anime lover, like I think it's accessible to anyone that's like of a mature age, because there is a lot of gore and violence, but it is a great show. I totally recommend it. So yeah,
You could say gore and violence, like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which review is out on the pod channel. But keep going on this.
Yes, for sure. But I was going to say, next on the list is Daredevil. Go ahead and watch that. I know that Raj is currently watching that. Justin, Jake, and Peter have all seen it, and it's just something I have to watch, considering all of you other guys have watched it. So that is next on the list.
So what if
So on,
Money Heist?
What's up?
Whatever happened to Money Heist?
We spoiled it for him.
So, yeah, I mean, I watched the first the first two episodes. I don't know, I couldn't get really big into it, but also just I didn't have time, so I was watching it during school. But I was probably considering watching it over the summer and just putting it off, but then it did get spoiled for me. Will I still watch it? Maybe. It's just at the bottom of the list right now. It is not a priority.
And why did it get spoiled for you, Andres?
Because I didn't end up completing the show.
What were you going to be doing over winter break in New York?
Yeah, there was a Money Heist experience in New York that we ended up not going to, but we did get tickets for it, but it just with code and everything, we ended up not going.
Yeah.
so what really, Andres, your show experience has got me like looped. Like, do you find the problem being starting shows in general, or like actually watching the shows? Because personally, I don't know what everyone else feels like. If I start a show and it is good, I get completely consumed by it in like seconds. Like, even something small, like Jacob had mentioned to me the other day that he thought Thor Ragnarok was like really good. We had recently done the tier list, which is also out on the Washed Athlete Podcast Instagram. Go drop a like and a comment. But so he was talking about Thor Ragnarok, and I was like, well, like I'll rewatch it just to see like if I can compare it to Multiverse of Madness, having just seen it. And I got that done very quickly. I didn't like watch it all in one night, but I watched it like 15 minutes before I went to bed, and I woke up, and when I was eating breakfast, I watched it, and then like when I had a lunch break at work, I watched it, and then I watched it again at night before I went to bed, and I was done it really quickly. And then Andres had said that Days of Future Past, X-Men, could be a top 5 MCU movie, and I was like, well, I haven't watched it in a while, but I know it's good, so like let me go watch it again. And I did the same thing where like I watched it in bed last night, and then I watched it while I ate breakfast again this morning, and I watched it at lunch, and then suddenly like I'm done super fast. And my problem is I do this with TV shows where like I just nail them out so quickly and they consume all of my time. So like, how is everyone else's relationship with like binging TV shows?
Well,
I guess
I mean, granted, I finished Cobra Kai season 4, like, at the day it released, so
Yeah.
if I start a show, I'm just gonna keep binging it until I'm done, no matter
fair,
what
though,
time.
Cobra Kai is just like that. Like, that was impressive, but like, I watched Cobra Kai in like a day and a half too. Like, it's such a quick consumable show.
No, I remember getting a text from Raj the morning that it released the show, so I was like, oh man, all right, I gotta go hop on Netflix and watch the show. And I watched it, I don't think as quickly as Raj, but I still watched it probably before like 3 o'clock, starting probably closer to like 8 or 9. So, like I love Cobra Kai as a show. It's not, it's one of those shows where it's not, very well written or anything. It's just like so fun. Like it's just a very fun and enjoyable show.
Yeah, and if you want to hear more about Cobra Kai, go watch the Cobra Kai Season 2 review out on the channel. One of our first videos we ever made. One of the best performing ones, too.
Yeah.
For the soul of the valley.
Many shameless plugs, and we're 14 minutes into the box. We're going to keep it rolling here.
Yeah.
Plug counters 3.
You do have a flaming hot take, I would say, in your review of Days of Future Past. That scene where Quicksilver goes and turns around.
the speedster scene.
The
Yeah.
speedster scene is absolutely fantastic. Like,
Yeah, let me explain myself here. So for people who don't know, because I think there's going to be a lot of people listening who don't know what we're talking about, in X-Men Days of Future Past, which is a Marvel movie, not an MCU movie, there's a scene where Quicksilver, who's a speedster, is like, got the guns pointed on him essentially, and the people he's with, and he goes super fast, and the scene gets super slowed down, so you see what Quicksilver does when like the bullets are firing out, because he pretty much like slows down all of time, stops everything, and whatnot. And this scene has been like in cinema and amongst like comic book fans, like really well regarded. And obviously Andres and Jacob feel very good about the scene, but I watched it and I very much disliked this scene. And I think my problem with it is, in a moment of tension, I don't like when people undercut it unless it like kind of fits the scene. And the point of the at that point in the movie, it's not really a spoiler. Like, they're breaking one of the characters out of a super highly guarded prison. It's like 100 stories below the ground in the center of the Pentagon, and it's just a whole like it's all this like dramatic like escape scene. And then they have the Quicksilver put his headphones in and like start licking like some of the chef stuff, and then he's like, but then also I think as a speedster, like, and as time works, it doesn't work that well. Like, nothing, sometimes things are moving, like the bullets are moving a little bit, but then other things aren't moving, and then he kind of just like points people's hands directions. I think the scene just like is goofy, and it also is really slow, which is ironic because he's moving super fast, but it's super slow, and I don't like that at all, because we're like very high tension like on this prison escape, and we like go from 100 to 0 real quick, and I just thought it was like way too goofy and like gimmicky for like for the high tension scene.
Yeah, like that's totally his character though. Like earlier on in the movie, you know, when you're first introduced to Quicksilver, you know, he is that like goofy character that care about people knowing about his like abilities, that, you know, is like freely open and very like he's pretty like relaxed. Like he went, you know, when they were trying to get into the house, he went and like checked their like went like I guess broke into the car and like checks their papers and stuff like that, like for lack of better word. But like he is like a very goofy character, so I feel like that's just very like quick.
Well, I think. Yeah, go ahead, Rogers.
No, I was just gonna say how you said that the putting in the headphones and just being silly like that, tasting the soup, and listening to music doesn't fit the scene, and it's not that it's supposed to fit the scene; it's that it fits the character, like Jacob was saying.
Oh no, I 100% agree. I think it's a broader movie discussion in general. Is you can have things that fit characters. Like that scene absolutely fits Evan Peters' portrayal of Quicksilver, and it does a really good job at that. But there's also times where the portrayal of a character in a certain scene doesn't necessarily make sense. Like I think the fat Thor in Endgame is part of Thor's character. Like that makes sense to me through Thor's character, how he's acting like that. But he keeps acting that way multiple times throughout the movie, and I think at a certain point, a criticism of the film is that they probably should have dropped it. So, like, if you get what I'm saying, like, I think in films it's okay if you have a character act a certain type of way, but there's also times where they can't act in that character, like, for that certain, like, there's no reason Thor would be falling asleep with his hands in his pants during, like, a really important meeting about, like, going back and collecting the Infinity Stones.
But, like,
and stuff.
But, like, also, it wasn't like that. Like, it was a high stakes thing. Like, they are having to, like, go. Like, I mean, that's a clearly, like, very well guarded prison in the center of the Pentagon, like, very far underground. But at the same time, for some, like, if people are just shooting guns, you know, the bullets aren't going to travel faster than his speed, you know. Like, he might not be, like, Grant Gustin, Barry Allen, but, like, he's still running fast.
I mean, Jake, I would agree, but they're time traveling back in that scene. So, like, if something goes wrong, if Charles Xavier dies, they die in the future. Like, everything's ruined. But the Sentinels won't be stopped.
But I think that's still true to his character. He doesn't probably care as much or really take things into consideration. Like
it fits for Evan Peters' character, but it doesn't fit the tone of the scene. The scene had no tones of that, so I think and again, it's more that it goes from a speed of 100, like big intense scene, to really slowing down. I mean, the music he's playing is pretty like melody driven, like chill music. So it just I think the scene takes a really big jump down. It just seems gimmicky to me.
I think that's the beauty of it, just that sudden change, and because I think his character being goofy like that is just. I think I would say that outweighs the severity of the situation, just because that's who he is. Like he's not fazed by breaking into the Pentagon. He does crimes all the time. Like he steals stuff all the time. He doesn't care. He's just having fun out there.
Yeah, like the reason why he agreed get them out is because you would be able to break them apart. So I think, like, I agree with Andres on this, but I guess we're gonna have to agree to disagree on it.
No, yeah, I think, like I said, I think it fits his character. I just don't like how it fits in the scene. I like all the fun stuff in the beginning where, like, they have him like, oh yeah, I just checked all your papers. Like, oh yeah, I know who you are. I read that. Or like, oh yeah, you don't have anything dangerous on you. I like checked you real quick. I think all that stuff's super fun. But no, I think it's a broader movie discussion of like, there is a time where comedies and stuff's accepted, but I also like, I want those like moments of like depth to like hit. Like, and one of my problems with Thor Ragnarok, and again, we're not gonna get into it too much in this episode. It's just like they take some scenes that are really super serious, and they kind of like make a joke out of it. And it's like I want these scenes to actually like impact our characters. Like the best parts of No Way Home are when like Tom Holland is just like standing there having like an emotional moment with like the characters because they let it sit, and there's no one being like, oh, but don't worry, like, we'll just grab another Aunt May from the multiverse. Spoilers for No Way Home. But you can also watch that review on our channel. But 4 times, and we're 21 minutes in. I'm killing it today. But I don't even know what we were talking about before this. Oh, Andre's finishing TV shows.
Yeah, so, because I could say with confidence, and I don't know, you guys could stop me if I'm wrong, but I would say I'm the most peculiar watcher of shows out of everyone here. Yeah. So, to answer your question, what gets me to really like keep watching a show is it has to have a solid pilot. Like they have to reel me in with it. They have to have something that's a good start where, okay, I'll check out the second episode. That's what I want to be saying after a pilot. And once I do, then if that goes well, I'll keep hitting next episode. But if it has a slow start, then it'll be a little iffy for me. And also, there are shows where they don't necessarily have to have the best pilot, but if it's a content of something I like Cobra Kai, which it's not really a good example, actually, because the pilot was pretty solid, I'd say, but because it was more so I checked out the show because I liked Karate Kid, and because of that, even if an episode was bad, I'd continue watching because I like the topic of that.
Well,
Why are we raising our hands here?
What's
Cobra Kai, you walked into my room and saw me watching it and then decided, hey, I'm going to go check this out.
Well, no, I actually had watched Cobra Kai before. I just stopped watching. I just saw a trailer, but and I saw the pilot of it, but I haven't I didn't go back to it, but I'd planned to do it anyways because it's I like Karate Kid.
but Cobra Kai was made with, Karate Kid was made with Cobra Kai, by the way.
You're absolutely right, but it was kind of it was made before, so I had to have watched it before. You know what I mean? And also it was necessary because it was made with Cobra Kai in mind. I had to watch it before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do we server kick these two?
Yeah, but yeah, there has to be a good pilot, and if it's just content that I like superhero shows, I'll watch regardless of if it's good or bad. Falcon Winter Soldier wasn't one of the best shows I've ever seen, but it's MCU, and it's canon, so I had to watch it, and that's to me is something that that's just how I watch shows. The Office didn't have the best of pilots, but I was I'll just keep watching it, and it started picking up. Season 1, you guys probably all agree, not really that great, but once you get past once you get into season 2 and on up until season 8, whatever, when Michael leaves, it's just good. You just got to keep watching. It's so funny.
Spoilers for The Office if you haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, Michael Scott leaves.
It's one of my favorite.
We don't have a review on that.
It's one of my favorite shows. I don't think anybody else except for me has seen all of it.
Oh, what?
What did you say? Oh,
I think you're having Game of Thrones.
You try to get me into it, but the episodes are so long.
But
yeah,
and I will say this: the Game of Thrones, the first season is it's slow. It's
all right, I think we're having problems with
tough to
Jacob's
get into.
audio and video, so we'll see if we can get him back in a little bit, or he's just gonna start talking over me.
Yeah.
No, but I don't think.
Here I am.
Oh, there
Sorry,
he's back.
I didn't realize that cut out. But Game of Thrones is one of the shows where it has the very the opening season is difficult to get into, and the episodes are long. But I think peak Game of Thrones is difficult to top. I would say it's probably one of the most hyped up shows of our generation. The ending was awful. I hated the ending, but even though the ending was bad and the beginning was like it was slow and like somewhat difficult to get into, but if you think about it in like the grand scheme of things, it makes sense. Like I think it's like a very, very good show. So like with that in mind, Andres, would you be interested in watching a show like Game of Thrones where it might be slow in the beginning, but the peak is like some of like the peak of television?
Yeah. So one of my friends back in high school, I was like junior or something like that. He said he loved Rick and Morty. He said that was one of his favorite shows at the time, and I watched Rick and Morty. Loved that show too. One of my favorites. Game of Thrones, after he watched it, he said was the best show he has ever seen, and he said that the first season and the first few episodes are totally a grind. And I started watching the first episode, and it's tedious. It's hard to get through, but because of all the hype and just like the culture surrounding it, I feel like I have to get around to it at some point, just because it's one of those shows that you just have to watch. Like, it's so well known. It's just something like everyone, like, you have like 60-year-olds talking about it and like 12-year-olds talking about it. So like,
Yeah,
I don't know if
Game of
12-year-olds are
Thrones
talking
is
about
pretty
it.
gruesome
Well, not
for 12-year-olds.
12-year-olds. Yeah, 16-year-olds. 16-year-olds.
There we go.
I'm exaggerating. You have all these people of different ages talking about how much they love this show, so I have to give it a second chance. I couldn't really get through the first few episodes, but because of that, and because I've gotten the warning from you and my other friend CJ that the first season's a grind, that that it's worth pushing through that grind and it just picks up. So. I'll
Like it's
definitely
just a
give it a
difficult
chance.
show to watch because like the first season, like is a lot of it is like setting up the world because there are a lot of different characters and there's a lot of different houses that you have to get introduced to, so that when they all start interacting and like if they're clashing or if they're fighting for the throne, you know, it will all start to make sense, and that's why like it works so well. And also the best thing about Game of Thrones is it's one of the only shows that is like unpredictable with who like can live or die. You know, you might have like a character that you might love and you might think, okay, there's no way in the world that they'll get, killed off. But at the end of an episode, your favorite character, they might just die.
die.
And you're like, wow.
They might just die.
There's no way, there's absolutely no way. So I highly recommend the show.
No, Game of Thrones is something I've been like I've watched the first season of Game of Thrones, and it wasn't great, but also just kind of felt like a grind. And it's something I've really been wanting to watch, but I don't know if anyone else feels this way. There is so much content and specifically so much content in a niche that I really thrive in, which is like the superhero niche, that like it gets tough to like start a show because, like, for example, in the next month or so, we are starting Obi-Wan Kenobi show is coming out, and Miss Marvel is going to come out. So already right there, I'm like, well, am I going to start Game of Thrones? Because, and it's not even like it logically makes sense because like there's only one episode a week, so I could still keep up with it. But like my brain is like, it's just too many shows to do. Because even like with Moon Knight coming out and then Doctor Strange, I was like, can't start a show. And I know once I start the show, I'm just completely consumed.
No, I was going to say, this might be a hot take, but this is another thing about how I am as a watcher. I kind of prefer, like, the weekly release as opposed to a straight binge.
Andres, would you call yourself the Watcher?
I am the watcher. I always keep both eyes open. You know
Yeah,
what I mean, Jacob?
I understand. I totally understand what you're talking about.
Like,
yeah.
as Nick Fury once said.
There's so many levels to that. But yeah, I mean, Justin, no, I understand what you're saying because like Game of Thrones, you have to like a lot of it is just like it's a show where you have to be paying attention to like it's not it really can't have like it going on in the background as much as you might with other shows. So unless you're like going to be like invested in the show entirely, I would recommend like holding off or maybe just like taking it like a season at a time and then stopping or something.
No, I can't do that either though, because like I haven't watched season 1 in a couple years, and now I'm like, I know I need to watch it again. But also, I think Game of Thrones is one of the least. I mean, with some other streaming services coming out, it's worked well, but it was for a while pretty inaccessible. Like, it wasn't on Netflix, it wasn't on Hulu. It was like you could get it on HBO, like Stars or something. So like it was very hard to like get to watch. which also made it difficult.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But no, but I really do, because Andres, you hit it right on the head. Like, Game of Thrones is part of the 2010, 2020 culture of like what happened that year. It's like Game of Thrones took place this year, those years. It's probably one of the bigger TV projects ever that's been ever done. But specifically for me, I remember Game of Thrones is a grind that I'm going to eventually get through. When I watched every single episode of The Big Bang Theory, that was the grind. That was Justin TV watching at his peak, because it was every day. Just like, not because I needed to, because I wanted to, but like I would watch an episode of Big Bang Theory during my lunch break, because they're only like 26 minutes long if you like take out the commercials. So it's like I could get through a whole episode like during a lunch break, and I wake up in the morning, I would like watch it before I got ready for my day, or like I would, if I had like any like 30 minutes before dinner, I would like lay on my bed and just like watch an episode. Like, I was grinding through that, and it was awesome. But man, like, it was so many episodes.
I never finished that show, honestly. Like, I remember watching.
It's
You
on
should. It's
HBO.
great.
It's on
I
HBO.
don't have HBO, so I'm gonna have to.
I
We're
do.
gonna have to talk after this podcast. So, but basically, like, I remember watching the show, just on regular TV, because my mom had got me into the show, and I liked the concept. I liked the characters. I thought like Sheldon having like his specific spot would probably be so annoying if I like were it like Leonard, but like I thought it was just like it just added to comedy, and like just I thought the overall dynamic was good. But hearing that the show ended and not like. I know, like, I guess, I've asked Justin, what's happened at the end of the show. So I know, I guess, what happens.
The ending is so, it's like emotional, and you wouldn't think that a sitcom would make you emotional. But Friends was the same way. I actually, like, ironically saw on Instagram today, like, they showed a picture of like Times Square. They showed the final episode of Friends in Times Square, where people were just like standing there and just like watching it on the screens, which was super cool. But it was like, even these sitcoms, which are like really like they have just these bits going on between episodes, like by the end they still wrap up the story, and it was emotional because Jacob, like, yeah, it's like I feel like you need to watch the end of
I feel
Big
like
Bang Theory.
that I can't.
Yes,
like,
it
I
is
just can't
good.
just go watch the ending. I feel like I have to watch everything else. So
That's fine, dude. I remember I binged the entire series, I think, last summer. Like, it did not take me that long. Probably like a week.
If I gain access to an HBO account, I feel like I'd want to go watch Game of Thrones.
You do realize Justin already used my login. I can give it to you, too.
Wow.
You knew I had HBO.
Yeah.
You've known I've had HBO for like a year plus now. You could have just asked me.
Because I don't want to have to spend like money. Like, cause if I were to go on Amazon Prime Video, like it's there, but I'm gonna have to spend money like paying either per episode or just buy the entire season. So
Well,
Yeah.
I'll just drop my login right
much
now.
appreciated.
So my username is
So,
Shoot.
Justin, Big Bang Theory might have been one of your biggest like TV kind of grinds in the number of episodes. For me, I would say Naruto because there's like over 600 episodes with fillers, and I watched almost all. I skipped a few filler arcs, but I watched all the canon episodes. So I watched over 350 plus episodes of Naruto. So I'd say that's my like kind of biggest grind of a show to watch in terms of number of episodes. So what's everyone else's?
Probably the Star Trek series. Those are like dense like episodes. Like I can't remember how many episodes there would be, or how long the episodes were, or how many seasons they were. I just remember it took me a while to finish it. Like the original series, it got canceled, so it's not going to be as long as Next Generation or Voyager. I didn't watch Deep Space Nine because I just couldn't bring myself to do it. But like watching, it's not that I didn't enjoy them; they just felt like they were dense. And I felt like once I started them, and I heard like so much about Star Wars, and I heard a little bit about Star Trek, and then I was kind of just like at one point interested in it, so I started watching it, and it just took a long time. So I'd say that felt like the biggest grind.
Grey's Anatomy, 100%. It's so repetitive. The plots aren't dense. They're just kind of boring at times. And like, I mean, the one thing Grey's does have that's like I mean, it's not realistic at all, but like the only good thing, I guess, is like no matter what character you like, they're probably gonna die. Like they've killed off at least like half the original cast.
So no plot armor.
There's no plot armor because apparently doctors go through plane crashes, their hospital gets caught on fire, there's a bomb in their hospital. There's like they've been hit with an earthquake. Every natural disaster has happened to that hospital somehow. I don't understand how any of them are
Grace
still
Sloan
alive.
Memorial Hospital really taking the brunt of it.
And it wasn't Grace. It didn't used to be Grace Sloan. It started off as Seattle Grace, and then
Yeah.
turned into Grace Sloan because 2 of the doctors got killed off in a plane crash.
Spoiler alert.
Not like you're gonna watch
Spoiler
it.
alert! Spoiler alert for Grey's Anatomy review is not on the channel.
Shameless plug number 5,
No
I
shameless
guess.
plug for
It's an
that.
anti-James.
If you guys want to see one though, drop it in the comments. Maybe Raj and I will do a review.
Oh, I cannot wait to tear up that show.
Anders, to answer your question, Big Bang Theory is definitely Grey's Anatomy is probably the most content I've consumed of a show, episode wise. But it never felt like a grind. Just felt like maybe towards like episode 16 and whatnot. But like I was pretty like content and happy to like watch it all. Big Bang Theory was a grind too, but like I was very like enjoying doing it. It's only it's 22 episodes long. When I watched Series of Unfortunate Events on Netflix, that felt like a long grind because the show is not good. And it was very painful to sit through it.
So what kept you like keep coming back?
That's really
Because I had read the books.
because I can't remember what happened, but I love.
So I loved the books too. The books were really good. And I hadn't remembered the books a ton, but I knew I had like in the back of my head I was like, this is something I enjoy. So I need to watch the TV show and just see how it plays out. And after the first season I was like, I'll just keep going. And then I did, and it just didn't really get that much better. And I can't even recall certain plot elements now, but it was a grind. I was like, when I was done, I was like, thank God. It's like, I don't know if I could have done another season. So I would say Series of Unfortunate Events is the biggest grind I've been through. But I will definitely pick up the Game of Thrones vibe. What I do also want to do one day, if Pokemon decides to make their content accessible, is I want to go through and watch every single episode of the Pokemon anime.
Nah, dude, those Pokemon animes had so many filler episodes.
I know, but I want to do it because I love Pokemon so much.
Like, I remember when I was younger, I would go on Netflix. I would purposely just go to the episode list on Netflix and just find where the battles happen and just skip all the fillers in between it.
Indigo League was pretty good. I liked Indigo League. It's a classic.
Sinnoh League was good. I'll admit, I watched that in entirety.
There's
No,
not
that was good.
But it's hard because it's on Netflix. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I had to watch it on
Paul
TV.
versus Ash in the Sinnoh League. There's just not a better battle ever.
Exactly.
No, I wish there was one place where they had each like Pokemon series because that's only like Indigo League would be on Netflix. Everything else
there's
is
an app
scattered.
called Pokemon TV. Just see if they'll take off the series at a certain point.
yeah, no, but they don't like, yeah, but like,
every single
you gotta watch continuous.
Yeah.
Because, like, even, like, I know one day I feel like they will become accessible and I will be able to watch them all. At least that's my hope. But, like, I will have to watch all of just because of how I am. Like, I will have to watch all of Indigo League again. And I will have to watch all of, like, the recent anime episodes I've seen because they're on Netflix right now. Like, Pokemon Journey is on Netflix, so I've seen some of those. So, like, and I've seen a lot of the Sinnoh series. I've seen a lot of them just, like, growing up. Random episodes. But, like, I'm gonna have to sit through each and every one. But it's annoying because they don't have them out anyplace. And even Netflix isn't caught up with, like, the way they're being released because, like, they're really behind. Because some big fights have already happened that other people aren't, that know about, but, like, it's not on Netflix yet. So, I wish Pokemon was more accessible, too. But, Anders, what is your biggest grind?
No, like I said, it was Naruto. But I do have something to say about how you were talking about a series of unfortunate events, how you, like, had to watch it because you read the books. I think that I can say with confidence that will be us with the Percy Jackson series coming out.
Absolutely. Well, no, but I want to watch it. Like,
No, so do I. But I'm saying even if it's bad, like
Yes.
we'll still have to watch. Like we're still gonna
Well,
watch it.
apparently the actress that's going to be playing Annabelle has been getting a lot, or Annabeth. Wow, I'm a
Annabeth.
big fan. Annabeth
Yeah.
has been getting a lot of hate on online.
yeah. And this obviously is, like, this is none of our opinions, but, like, I don't think it's how we feel about it, but, like, there's been a lot of issues with the portrayal of these characters in the movies. Like, Percy is aged up too much. He doesn't have blue eyes. Annabeth doesn't have blonde hair. And people get way too attached to it, so they hired a black actress to play Annabeth, and people are really upset because it doesn't reflect the blonde hair and, like, blue eyes and white girl that is in, like, the books. And people are just, like, already upset about it. And it's just, like, ridiculous because it's, like, there's things that should be accurate. Like, the character's age should be accurate and whatnot. But if they don't have some of those key characteristics, like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
it's not that big
one
of a deal.
example of something that was somewhat accurate, I guess, just in appearances. Actually, not entirely, but in the Avatar: The Last Airbender, the movie, The Last Airbender, they got an actor. They chose the actor for Aang, not because it was because they reflected, I guess, the ethnicity that Aang would have been if he were an actual human, but because they were good at karate or taekwondo or some whatever form of martial arts they were good at. So it had nothing to do with their acting ability. It just had to do with their ability at martial arts. But if you're going to be acting in a TV show, the number one thing that should be or a TV show or movie thing that should be at the forefront of the the hiring team or whatever should be the ability to act. So I think you put it basically perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's just if their appearance has a big lasting impact on the plot of the movie, then I completely agree. Like, Percy should have blue eyes. His dad is Poseidon, the father of the god of the water and seas. So he should have blue eyes. That makes sense. But Annabeth having blonde hair and being white is quite irrelevant to the plot of anything. Like, Athena is her her mother, but that also isn't that relevant. To her being blonde haired and blue eyed and white is not relevant to it. So people sometimes get annoyed with the comic book portrayals. The reason people have been saying John Krasinski should be Reed Richards is because of the comparison, how they look alike and whatnot. And it's just there can just be other people that can play these characters and do it really well. I mean, we think that we could not imagine another Tony Stark not being Robert Downey Jr. But if they had casted someone if they had casted Tom Cruise since day one to be Tony Stark, we would know nothing different. So I don't know why people all get upset about them not portraying them from the comics or from other literature. It's it's fine. I couldn't tell you if the Harry Potter actresses and actors look anything like what they looked like in the book, because I've read the books a ton, but I don't remember their specific descriptions, and it doesn't matter. As long as they portray their actual character traits. If this Annabeth doesn't act like how she acts in the books, then I will criticize it. But I don't think they will. They're just choosing who can actually act the best and who will portray the character the best. So it's annoying because people are I don't know, people get attached to their childhood their childhood books and shows. A bunch of people who read these books growing up are very emotionally invested in the show. And I'm y'all need to come off the cliff a little bit, because just let the show be produced, enjoy the show and see where it goes. So if you guys don't know, I guess we kind of talked about it without introducing it. The famous Percy Jackson books, The Lightning Thief and whatnot, they did have 2 movies that had come out, but they were pretty trash. And then now they're making a TV show to go on Disney Plus, and it has created a lot of buzz because there is a passionate fan base behind those books. And even I have some of Rick Riordan's books with me at college right now, because I do really enjoy them a lot. So I'm hoping it's a great TV show, but I already cannot stand the hate that is being put out there about the hiring of the actors and actresses. Cause I'm just it doesn't let them act, and then we'll see from there.
So I'll catch you all later. So it has been nice speaking with you guys.
Peace.
I think this episode's been pretty good, so I'll see you guys all later.
Peace. And I guess with Jacob's departure, we will just move on to our next topic I want to talk about. And I wanted to talk about...
Wait, Before you
Faces.
move on, have you
Okay.
checked the score of the Sixers game?
I have not checked the score of the Sixers game. Is it not good? That might be a shame.
It was
Yeah, I
pretty
don't like
close up until the start of the third.
You know what? We had you know what? We're gonna move on, and we're not gonna talk about this. because I don't want
Exactly.
to talk about it. Yikes. Okay. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about, with the remaining time we have, about phases, because I feel like every so many months I get very into something, and then I come out of it, and like I will either make like financial investments in it, or like get really like emotionally tied, or like time investment wise into something, and then I instantly just disappear. And like one of those, and it's not the one I'm in right now, but like every like few months I get really into Pokemon again. And it is like a toxic cycle, because I get into Pokemon, like I buy the game, I like try to start playing it, and then I give up on it. So I just want to know, like, what kind of phase are we into, like, right now? Like, what are we vibing with as the unit?
I'm in a really big Destiny 2 phase right now. I mean, I've been playing that game for years now, and like it's been like on and off. Like I'll stop playing it because the game got dry, and then they'll release some new content, pump up our veins again with some new like mind-numbing things to finish, and then I get on a grind, and then I'm like, oh crap, I gotta buy more expansions because I forgot. Oh, I forgot to buy the season pass this year. Oh, so then I drop more money on the game, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna play this game for like 6 hours on end each day. And like Andres and Peter both know how long I was playing for. The past week I was at Pitt, but I mean that's my phase right now. It'll eventually die out in like 2 weeks.
For me, Attack on Titan. Like that. If I've had free time, that's what I've been doing. I've been watching it. So
It's not a phase. Attack on Titan is a lifestyle. I support Eren Yeager. He did nothing wrong.
I don't know about that one, Chief. But
He did nothing wrong. I support Eren
We won't
Yeager.
spoil anything. We won't spoil anything. But yeah, now that I just finished the show, I've just been in YouTube rabbit holes, just like on explanations, theories, just whatever. Because there is a part 3 of season 4 in production, I believe. Raj, can you confirm that?
Yeah, it's gonna come out like it's gonna be months, and I'm just like, God damn it! I was hoping for a movie this summer just so I can finally finish the show because I got I pulled the trigger and read the manga to finish. Like, so I know how the series ends, but I just want to. But I've heard rumors there's gonna be a different ending for the like manga and the animated series, so I want to see what they do
Yeah,
because there's a lot of
Yeah.
differences already that I noticed.
That's like, yeah, it's like with most anime and manga. But yeah, Attack on Titan, it has been my current phase, and maybe my next phase will be Daredevil. I will watch it. Will I be as invested as I am currently with Attack on Titan? Who knows? But that's where I will be heading next.
Yeah. I've been in 2 recently, and they've kind of, I feel like the one's fizzling out a little bit, but I've been really into Clash Royale for like the better part of like 3 months. I started picking it up towards like the back end of like sophomore year, and I was like, it was my way of escaping schoolwork, and then like slowly it crept into my Instagram reels, then slowly it crept into like I was watching YouTube videos of other people playing it, and like watching old like grand finals and stuff, like some competitive play. So it's fizzling out a little bit right now, but like that's been a big phase recently. And then I have to like, even though it's like it's hard to say a phase because I just care about it so much, like Marvel right now has definitely been a phase. When Moon Knight came out, I was pretty disconnected on it coming out. I was not watching it when the episodes came out. I was like, whatever. I was just kind of waiting for the movie. I was busy with schoolwork and whatnot. But now that like school's kind of ended and Moon Knight has concluded and Doctor Strange has come out, and now we've got some other projects coming up in the very near future, I'm like back. I'm like watching videos. I'm listening to other people's thoughts. All I want to do is talk about Marvel. I mean, we made that tier list recently, so I don't like. I am always interested in Marvel, but like I get into like the rabbit holes, and I same way with like Harry Potter, where I just go down like rabbit holes of Harry Potter lore occasionally, and it's fun, but like phases can be like very sensitive. I remember it's so weird, but like my school had like a Rubik's Cube phase where like everyone was just buying like these weird like speed Rubik's Cubes and whatnot, and people bring it to school and put them on their desk and like do these Rubik's Cubes. So me and my brother got into like this super hard like Rubik's Cube phase, and we had like these speed cubes, and I knew how to solve it, and I was always trying to see how fast I could do it and whatnot. And then one day, I just stopped like bringing the Rubik's Cube to school. I stopped playing with the Rubik's Cube, and it was just like, damn, this phase never came back. But I was like, that was wild. Like just like such a small phase, and it comes back, and I don't know what it is. Like it's just like something piques my interest, but then I don't care about it enough to like stick around forever. Because there are things that just stick. Like I am just like into like running and like sports, so like I'm never in like a basketball phase or whatnot. Like I watch the NBA consistently throughout the year. Same thing with like football. Like I watch football throughout the year, but I run like for my sport like throughout the year. But there are these like niche like little like things that I get into, and it's weird.
Dude, the classic phase is the Minecraft phase where it lasts for
I forgot about
the Minecraft phase lasts for like 2 to 3 weeks, then it dies out. Then out of nowhere, you're like, huh, I'm kind of bored. I'm trying to play Minecraft again.
Yeah, it's Minecraft.
Raj, I'm so glad you brought that
Literally,
up. Because,
I've been fiending for Minecraft. Y'all trying to start a server again?
No, literally, I was thinking the same thing the other day. I don't know when I would play, because I've also been trying to play some Pokemon, but like, no, the Minecraft phase is the most toxic. It always comes, and it's always like, we should start a server, and everyone's like, that would be great, and then no one plays the server after like, there's always that first person who, we started a server last summer.
Listen, I was trying to speedrun that game. I was speedrunning for a decent amount, and then
y'all tried to beat the Ender Dragon like day 3, and I was like, I don't want to do that because the game's gonna like die out quickly, and then none of y'all played again.
Dude,
so
I was in the Nether in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, because that's the thing with when you guys serve with the homies. Like everyone wants to do their own thing. You have one that wants to speed run. You have one that wants to build like nice houses. Like everyone wants to do their own thing. I would say that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty.
Dude, my Nether entry was so solid, and then you guys were like, "How are you already in the Nether?"
Cheats.
Cheats.
Well, your X-ray vision.
What? No, I use X-ray for ores. That was only for that one server with one of my friends from home, just so I could, defend
Ross
myself.
also cheated when we were playing Pokemon because we were trying to have a race to see who could finish the game the first, and Raj was like, "Oh, infinite XP." Viewers, I don't think y'all understand. Like, we were like, it was back half of our freshman year. We were all chilling. We're like, yes, Jacob and I were getting into our Pokemon phase again because I always get stuck in a toxic Pokemon phase, and then. So we're like playing this game and whatnot, and Raj, we're like, okay, let's race to finish it. Like we'll do a Nuzlocke and whatever. It was cool. I was playing competitively. Like Jacob was playing a lot, and Raj like literally was like, all right, I'll play. Like decides like in that moment he'll start competing with us. Sits down, does infinite XP. He's like, oh look at this, I already got level 100 Charizard. And then Jacob, stupid weak-minded person he is, I can trash him now because he's not here. Jacob gave in to the peer pressure of the XP. So then I was out here with nobody to play, like, to compete.
Yeah.
Everyone caved. I was the only one who didn't cave. And then I just gave up and stopped playing. And there ended my Pokemon phase for the next 6 months.
That's how you gotta end the Pokemon phases. You gotta exploit the game.
No, I have to...
Candies, man. They're too addictive.
I really enjoyed modded Minecraft, though. I don't know what you all thought.
Modded Minecraft is fun.
It's fun.
I really dig
I
some...
like modded. The issue is it takes so long to set up.
Pixelmon is like Pixelmon is the breed of is the combination of like everything I hold dear to my heart.
It's fun.
No, and then it's just the phases are just so toxic but so fun at the same time. Cause I think my dad has even picked up on it. Like he'll know when I'm into something. He's like, "What the hell? Like, why are you like all into that again?" I'm like, "I don't know, Dad. Like, just feeling it right." He's like, "You're playing Minecraft again?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man. Like, playing with the boys. Like, me and my friend Jimmy, we got the server going on." And he's like, "I thought you already had one." I'm like, "Yeah, that was last year. Like, we took a break. We're back." But then, like, I played like pretty solidly last summer for a couple months, and then I stopped playing, and now I'm like, I made so much progress on that world, but no more.
Nah,
Do we have anything we're looking forward to?
You know what was a phase?
Oh yeah, what?
Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga.
I'm sure that was a phase for you. How was that? Short-lived phase.
I think I finished the game in 2.5 weeks after release. I 100%ed the game, and I haven't touched it since. Like, ever since I've 100%ed it, I've had no need. And, like, there's DLC characters and stuff, but, like, I think they're just character packs. I don't think they're releasing, like, more levels, so I'm just like, I have no reason to play this game anymore.
I have a funny story about that, because it was the last few weeks of classes and finals week, and Raj would be working around the clock. I'd go to bed, he'd be playing. I'd wake up for class, he'd be playing. And it's not like he took any breaks. He played straight through my entire sleep. So that's why he 100% of that big game in 2.5 weeks.
No, Raj, you're definitely in a toxic phase of like your phases last so short that then you get stuck in this awkward period where there is no phase. So you just have nothing going on because you ended your phases so quickly.
Yeah, I'd say the best way to describe a Raj phase is short-lived, but they are his
But intense.
Yeah, they're intense but short-lived. It's like a good time and not a long time.
I wish I applied this to school, to be honest, but oh well.
Well, I mean, you don't want to be short-lived.
But I
Well,
could even
fair.
argue that school is a phase. Like during like the fall, the vibes are good because I'm like very organized and I'm like
Yeah,
even
true.
right now before this biochemistry class, I'm like I'm gonna read the textbook before class. Like I have a lot of time to like I'll just be like really prepared, like knock out this class, get an A. But like it'll be like week 2 of this class, I'm gonna be like, man, like I'm done. I'm so done school. Like, 'cause always during the fall, I'm like between like September and mid October, I'm like locked in on like another planet, and then like second semester, I'm just like,
Nah,
what
you
even
could,
is school?
you
Like,
could
who
see
cares?
my
I fail
effort. My effort in school, you could see it just like slowly, like at the start of Orgo and everything. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be on the top of my game for Orgo and all of my classes. Slowly on, after having EMT class chunk away at my like psyche and trying to actually like do work, I'm just like, man, this 4-hour lab is beat. This 3-hour lecture every twice a week was beat. And then on top of that with Orgo and like all my other classes, I was like, this is all beat. I'm just gonna not go to class.
Yeah, it's always those first few weeks. You're like, all right, this semester will be different. I'm gonna stick to it. I have a routine, everything.
Dude.
Once you get past that third, fourth week, whatever, you're just clocked out.
Dude, Andres, remember the amount of times I woke up, I'm like, I should really go to physics today. And then I just
and
don't.
then you're like, nah, just go back to sleep.
No, I think when I stopped taking notes in physics, I knew I had really given in. Like that was when I had reached my breaking point because I was like. So I was like, even though the class was so boring, I was like, I'll still pay attention enough to like take notes. And then once the notes stopped, it was all over. That's when I
See,
knew I
was
lost
pretty
it.
I was pretty good on the physics note taking. Like I just like filled in the slides on my iPad, and then I think it was after I came back from Jamaica. That's when I'm just like, man, I don't want to do this no more. I'm just not even gonna go to class.
You had a really short Jamaica phase.
I
and
did.
Then it broke your school phase.
Those
Jamaica.
4 days in Jamaica really broke me, I guess.
Speaking of Rod's trip to Jamaica, we just gotta give a quick shout out to one of the more loyal listeners on the pod, Mark. He for work he does like some catering kind of stuff, and he was he's doing an Indian wedding today, and he was like, I know about these, like I've been prepared because of our podcast episodes. We seek to entertain, but we also seek to inform out here on the Washed Athlete podcast.
Exactly.
So on that note, boys, do we have anything else before we head out for the day?
Yes, before actually, you forgot a shameless plug to the episode of the trip to Jamaica.
Yes,
Which
one of
number
the best performing episode of the pod. I think maybe to date it might have switched over, but yes, that is a good episode to go watch. I think it's Raj Finally Speaks.
Episode 9?
11.
Nine.
Episode 9. Episode 9. Raj Finally Speaks. Go check it out. Great episode here, all about Raj's experience in Jamaica going to his cousin's Indian wedding. So on that note, thank you everyone for listening. I think we've had a really good episode here. Make sure you comment, write a review for our show. It really helps out a lot. Go engage with our tier list again. Drop a like, share, and we'll see you next time.
Yep. Use code WASH20 on bucktop.com for 20% off your purchase. Go Bengals, go Kenny Pickett, go Steelers.
And we're out. Peace.